Mysteries to Die For welcomes Melinda Di Lorenzo to the morgue. If you like fast pacing, authentic dialogue, and a guaranteed twist, Melinda Di Lorenzo is the author for you. This story, GenX, is a perfect sample of what she offers. Set in 1995 in the Pacific Northwest, it follows 5 friends who are taking a reunion camping trip. The only problem? A 6th person has shown up, uninvited. Oh, and he'll be dead by morning. Welcome to Mysteries to Die For. I am TG Wolff, and I'm here with Jack, my piano player who likes to mess with me and producer. This is a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. All stories are structured to challenge you to beat the detective to the solution. Jack and I perform these live, front to back, no breaks, no fakes, no retakes. In the world's most dangerous working environments, it can seem like everything is out to kill you. The equipment you use, the materials you work with, the very air you breathe. Stored energy is a coiled viper waiting for the right moment to lash out. Owners, manufacturers, contractors, and beyond have developed safety protocols to combat sticky, that is, stuff that can kill you. Gravity, motion, mechanical, electrical, pressure, sound, radiation, biological, chemical temperature. This season is all about the means of murder as authors put our sticky detective skills to the test. This is Season 9, Stuff That Can Kill You. And this is Episode 15, where chemical is our sticky means of death. This is GenX by Melinda Di Lorenzo. So now that we've changed our setup, I can see Jack.
Yeah.
So I not only am listening for my arpeggio cue, I'm watching him. And his hands are just moving all over this keyboard, like right over my cue.
What do you mean right over your cue?
Right over my cue.
Did I play on your cue?
You did.
What? I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even notice.
You went down the arpeggio and then you started, I don't know what you were doing.
Welcome to Mysteries to Die For. Come on, we do the same thing every time. I didn't do that?
No, you didn't.
How did I miss that?
Oh, you're gonna have to listen to it and see that you just kept going, and I'm like, that was my cue.
My bad.
6 notes ago.
I didn't even notice. I blew through your cue. Wow.
All right.
And right before this, I was bragging that I was a professional. That I know what I'm doing. I was all cocky.
That's what happens when you get cocky.
Apparently, I didn't even notice.
So the setting for this one is campsite.
You know what instrument's perfect for campgrounds? The
accordion.
Ah, yes. Actually, it's normally...
Because I've always seen accordion.
Yes, isn't it?
It's
It's normally some obnoxious man has brought his acoustic guitar.
Hey, don't diss the acoustic guitar.
No. I'm not blaming the guitar. I'm blaming the man. What in the world?
I play the acoustic guitar very poorly, but I play it.
Oh, I accidentally was on the strings section. Okay, here's a nice steel guitar. That
does not sound like a steel guitar.
No, it sounds more like a harpsichord.
It does sound like a harpsichord.
Here, you were talking about getting some nylons. Here's a nylon. I don't think this is a good representation of what these...
Neither. How about banjo? Was there a banjo?
There is, but I'm not sure if it's under the guitar section.
What about what's something Gen X-y?
This one, I don't really know what it is, but it looks like chocolate guitar.
I like it. Or maybe I just like what you're playing with it. Let's go with the chocolate guitar. Because it's like a s'mores guitar.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, here we go. Class of 1990. 24 hours from now, almost to the minute, Jason Mercer would be staring down at Kevin Boeser's dead body and wondering why he'd ever wanted a 5-year reunion with his old friends in the first place. But right now, on Thursday morning, he had no clue what was coming. Jason stood on the stoop of his condo, rocking on the heels of his brand new top-of-the-line hiking boots and smoothing his designer cargo shorts while he waited. He wasn't used to waiting, not these days. These days, people hurried to oblige him without being told. They were the very definition of a jump how high situation. But his high school buddies were a different story. Jen Jenkins, Michael Greer, David Schützke, and Angela Lehman had known Jason when his dad left his mom with nothing, when they lost the house and moved into a 2-bedroom trailer, where he'd shared a rickety bunk bed with his younger brother. In other words, they didn't see him as a boss. They'd laugh at the idea of being at his beck and call, and this morning, his friends were late. A glance at his watch, he switched out his Rolex for the latest and greatest waterproof sports deals, told them they should have arrived 10 minutes ago. Annoying. Jason had to work to keep from gritting his teeth. He should have insisted on renting a bus. The others had protested the cost, but he would have happily paid if it meant getting out of here before rush hour. Well, maybe not happy, he admitted to himself, but I would have done it. He didn't know why they cared so much about forking over a few bucks. He wasn't the only one in the group with money. Angela's parents were filthy rich, and Jen and her husband did well for themselves. Okay, Jen's husband did anyway. Although maybe in Jen's case, she wouldn't have felt right about spending the cash without bringing along the man who bankrolled her life. Hell, maybe she felt bad enough about leaving him with their kid. Women could be like that. How old was her son now anyway? 4? Wasn't he old enough to pour his own cereal or whatever? Jason knew nothing about kids and hoped he never did. Settling down was about the lowest thing on his list of priorities right now. In fact, he rejected 3 date offers to accommodate this little camping trip, which clearly wasn't a priority for anyone else. 5 years, he thought. We made the pact to do this 5 entire years ago, and you guys are seriously late? They'd kept in touch, but this was something else, something special, a time to pretend that nothing had changed except for maybe his own living status. He stole another look at his watch. If much more time passed, they really would wind up in the thick of traffic. The whole reason for leaving early on a Thursday was to make the travel easier. God damn it, he muttered, which made the doorman jump, and he waved an apology. Sorry, Jeeves. He knew the guy's name wasn't Jeeves, obviously. He just had a hard time keeping track of the uniformed men who seemed to change every 3 months or so. Jeeves worked just fine. Sir, is that them? The other man shifted Jason's European adventure-worthy backpack from one shoulder to the other and pointed. You said they were coming in a minivan, and there's one that looks like it's stuck behind a delivery truck. Jason squinted. Sure enough, it was them. Even from here, he could make out Jen in the driver's seat and David beside her. The latter had his standard ball cap tucked in place, as well as his signature plaid jacket, which was the very same one he'd had since high school. Under that, he wore a black shirt splattered with red. Undoubtedly a concert t-shirt from some obscure grunge band. David was always on the top of the latest music. He was the proud owner of an original copy of Nirvana's Bleach on cassette, and had stopped listening to Stone Temple Pilots about the same time everyone else started. Jen, as usual, looked bitchy. Blonde hair in a slick-back ponytail, unnecessary sunglasses perched on her head, pink golf shirt. Some things really never changed. As Jason watched, she laid on the horn, spun the wheel, and came flying out from behind the truck. Ah, he said before turning to Jeeves, I'll take my bag now. No reason for his friends to think he was too soft to carry his own stuff. But as they got closer and then came to a stop in front of him and opened the side door, he realized his problem might be bigger than that. Not one of his friends was smiling. Not Jen or David in the front. Not Angela, who sat in the middle, twisting one of her dark waist-length braids in her pale, skinny fingers. And definitely not Michael, who sat in the third row with a scowl marking his face. The things about Kevin. As Jen Jenkins watched Jason's face, it took an enormous amount of effort not to bust out an "I told you so" to the rest of the group. Jason was a lot of things, including a certified asshole, but the one thing he was not was stupid. He never had been, which is exactly why, when the others suggested that nobody say a word about Kevin Boeser, Jen had known it was a ridiculous idea. What did they expect to happen? That they'd pull up to a remote campsite and that Kevin would jump out of a cake and yell "surprise" and everything would just be hunky-dory? Or that Jason would assume it was a coincidence? Even as she pointed out the idiocy, they kept arguing in favor of keeping the secret. Now, she felt a little smug about being right. Of course, under that was a pervading worry, a pervading personal worry. If this didn't get sorted out, things could go bad quickly. She kept all of that out of her voice as she spoke over her shoulder. "Go ahead, Jay. Ask what's wrong." His gaze lasered in on her, blue and frosty. "Please don't tell me one of you is going to mess this up. I spent weeks putting it together." Jen strongly suspected he paid someone else to put it together, but whatever. Angela piped up. "It was David. Don't blame the rest of us." Jen's hands tightened on the wheel. Yes, David. God, how she wished he'd been the first she'd picked up today. She could have grilled him. But that window had passed, obviously. David cleared his throat, audibly uncomfortable. "Could you just put your stuff in, Jason? You were the one who wanted to leave at the ass crack of dawn." Jen waited. She kept watching Jason, whose eyes were now solidly on the back of David's head. Come on, she thought. Do your thing. She'd known Jason since 3rd grade, which was twice as long as any of the others had known each other. It meant she was pretty well acquainted with his facial tics and could read his moods. She might even say she could predict what he was going to do or say. Or she had been able to anyway. Not today, apparently. Maybe he gained some self-control over himself since blowing up in the tech world, because without a word, he tossed his bag in beside Michael and climbed into an empty middle seat. "Really?" Jen prodded, looking at Jason in the rearview mirror as he settled in. "You're not going to ask?" He rolled his eyes. "Fine. Tell me, David, what did you do that's going to piss me off?" David didn't answer, and that made Jen even more bristly. What was with these guys today? Thank God for Michael, who spoke up. "He went ahead and invited someone to join us." Well, that got Jason's temper going. "You gotta be kidding me! We made a pact, dude! That's a solemn vow!" "We were kids," David replied. "And like I told the rest of you 15 times, that inviting him was an accident." Jen pulled the van into the street, keeping a smile to herself. Finally. Jason went on, even more incensed. "Who the hell did you invite, and how the hell can that be an accident?" David explained what Jen already knew, what she wished she could ask him more about. He'd been at a barbecue or something and had run into Kevin. In passing, he'd mentioned the trip. Kevin said it sounded fun, and somehow he assumed it was an invitation. What else had the two of them talked about? Had David let on what he knew? Jason interrupted the ongoing explanation. "Hold on. Back up the truck. Kevin who?" "Here it comes," Jen thought. "Boeser," David said. "Kevin Boeser." There was a long pause, and Jen stole another rearview mirror look at Jason. His anger was definitely showing. Red face, wide eyes, stiffer than stiff jaw. Then she looked at David, tried to catch his eye to voice a silent question. No such luck. Jason blew out a breath. "I have no idea who that is, but I am so glad that I get to spend my next 3 days with a total stranger." The whole van went silent. Then David, Michael, and Angela all started talking over themselves to explain who their old classmate was, what he looked like, who he hung out with. But Jen stayed quiet. Her hands were tight on the steering wheel, her eyes locked forward under the guise of focusing on the road. Inside, she was roiling. Honestly, she'd been counting on Jason to make sure they found a way to exclude Kevin. She knew for a fact that her friend disliked the guy. She didn't know why that was the case, only that it was the case. They'd once had a conversation about it. She was the one who brought Kevin up, actually, because she'd run into him at an event a few months after graduation. "You remember Kevin Boeser?" she asked. "Yeah," Jason had replied. "Total loser. Glad to never have to see him again." Jen had then closed her mouth and kept the rest to herself. It wasn't like she needed to explain. She'd wanted to, but she swallowed it instead, which meant that Jason hadn't been looped in on the biggest secret of her life, the thing that only David knew. Her husband wasn't her son's father. That honor belonged to Kevin and a drunken one-night stand. Okay, so you're keeping these people straight?
Kevin.
Kevin is going to die.
No one likes Kevin.
At least, yeah, it seems like nobody likes Kevin.
Except for, what's the woman's name? Stacy.
There's no Stacy. There's a Jen and an
Rachel.
Angela.
Jen. How did I get Stacy from Jen?
I don't know that you got Jen likes Kevin.
No, Jen liked Kevin for one night.
For one night.
For one night. She was really into Kevin, I can tell you what.
Kevin was really into her.
One or the other. Probably both. I hope both.
Yeah, so we have Jason, who's our kind of main storyteller so far. And now we're going to have different storytellers. So hopefully all of my voice inflections will be very clear about who's talking. And we have Jen, who's driving the minivan, the mom-mobile. I never had one. I always drive sports cars.
Yeah, you're very unique in that, I've learned. All my friends are like, you never had a van growing up? And I was like, my dad kind of had a big car. And they're like, your dad? And I'm like, yeah.
Did the SUV thing?
Yeah, my mom's got the sport car. Your mom has a sport car? It's like, yeah.
It's too funny.
I didn't
know that
it's a little
was a
flipped.
thing.
No, it's just, the stereotype's a little flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your dad had to have a place for the hockey bags and his dogs.
Yes. Honestly, even if he had a smaller car, it would still just be covered in dog slobber. Like.
All right. In the know. Oh, that's a good one because it's David Shiska's turn and he's really chill.
Okay.
David Shiska hated very few things and even fewer people. Hate was easy. It was cheap. It was a choice. And David chose the opposite. For just over 4 years now, he'd been embracing the Serenity Prayer as his personal mantra. It was the first thing he thought of in the morning and the last thing he thought of before bed. The thing he grasped at for steadiness when he felt anger seeping in. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Leaving God out of it wasn't an accident either. But the point now was that, as David tipped his head against the window and closed his eyes and pretended to sleep to avoid conversation, it crept in, that need for the prayer. He was conscious of his right hand trying to curl into a fist, too. One of the few things David did hate was a liar. Yes, there was an irony in that. He was self-aware enough to see it. His wife's face filled his head for a second. Not as she was now, with red curls that touched her shoulders and the braces she decided to get, but instead like it was 4 years ago, before he knew her name, before he knew if she'd live or die. A breathing tube affixed to her face and the whole side of her head shaved because she needed surgery to repair her skull. He could hear his own voice whispering in his head too. Please, please live. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. I'll never make the same mistakes. This is my fault. I know. Just live. David's wife, then a stranger, had just been in a world-altering accident, one that would leave her in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. A hit and run. No evidence of the other car, and there never would be, because David's dad owned the auto wrecking company who responded. The other car was gone, for good. So, yeah, David was a liar himself. It didn't change anything, though. The problem here was Jason, who had most definitely just lied about not knowing Kevin Boeser. David had seen that millisecond of recognition when he said the name. He'd caught the nostril flare, the hard blink, the quick look away. He'd be sure Jen would call him on it. She knew Jason better than anyone. She was the one who made them stay friends with the guy, no matter how much of a tool he was, all through high school. She had to have seen it. Yet, she stayed quiet. David's fists tightened more. Grant me the serenity. He opened his eyes and stared out the window, hoping no one would ask any more questions about the accidental invite, hoping no one noticed his all-over sweat. It wasn't so much, this time, that he wasn't being honest with his friends. He really had run into Kevin at an event. He really had mentioned the camping trip, and Kevin really had taken the conversation as an invitation. But the pieces David hadn't disclosed needed to stay that way. For one thing, the event had been an AA meeting. For a second thing, if the universe had ever offered him a chance to not see someone again through his entire existence, he would have picked Kevin Boeser. And for a third thing, until David had delivered the accidental invitation, he had been planning on backing out of this trip. Yes, with a lie. Yes, he'd been ready to use his wife's disability as an excuse. Kevin's presence was the only thing keeping David on board. And that was because of the other, fateful and equally accidental meeting 4 years ago. The meeting on the same day that David had stared down over the woman he'd nearly killed when he'd gotten behind the wheel 7 beers deep and promised to take care of her. Right after he'd spoken those words, he heard something. The unexpected sound of someone behind him. Shoes squeaking on linoleum. David had gone cold, and he turned. And who had he found? Kevin Boeser. That's who. He recognized him right away. He could tell, too, that Kevin had recognized him. He was also sure that Kevin had heard his confession. And as much as David tried to tell himself that Kevin couldn't grasp the full meaning, he somehow knew it wasn't true. The look in the other man's eyes, the glance toward David's would-be wife. Yeah, Kevin knew. The other man had said nothing. Not then, not in the 4 years since. But how could David possibly trust that to stay true? One thing was certain. He couldn't have chanced telling the guy he couldn't come on this trip. No way. Kevin Boeser knew way too much. More secrets. Love, or something like it. The closer they got to the campsite, the more the knots in Angela Lehman's head and stomach tightened. She wound her braid around her fingers, hard enough to hurt, hard enough to make the tips purple. This morning before leaving, she doubled her dose of anxiety meds, but instead of being any calmer, she was jittery and on edge. Kevin Boeser, why him? She asked that same question too many times to count over the last couple of hours. There had been 481 people in their graduating class. 203 of those had been guys, which meant that, their little group not included, David could have run into 199 other men than Kevin Boeser. And yet Kevin was the one. Why him? Ahead of the van on the road, a sign appeared. "Oh, look," Jen exclaimed. "We're maybe 10 minutes out." Michael muttered from the back, heavy on the sarcasm. "Yay." "You ruined this for me," Jason said. Angela couldn't even muster up an eye roll at the fact that he'd singled himself out for the ruination. She reached for her bag, unzipped the front pouch, snagged the pill bottle from inside, and helped herself to another of the tablets. No one said anything, which was good, because she was pretty sure if they asked about what she was taking, she'd cry. Kevin Boeser. She hadn't seen him since the third day after high school ended, but his face was etched into her brain. Hair to his shoulders, brown and always shiny, hazel eyes, and of course the mole just above his pierced left eyebrow. Nowadays, everyone and their dog had a piercing. In 1990, it was just Kevin. Why him? Angela wondered again, resuming the tug of her braid. Why him and why now? And why weren't her pills working? She'd been so good for the last 2 years. Her meds were balanced. She didn't dislike her job or her roommates. She hadn't had a single breakdown, and her therapist had just told her that she exceeded all expectations. He was proud of her, which made her proud of her. It was the reason she agreed to come on this trip, actually. If she hadn't been doing so well, she'd have found a way to back out. And now, Kevin. Jen navigated off the paved road and onto a gravel one, the minivan bouncing unevenly over the natural potholes. "Would you watch it, Jen?" Jason said. "You're going to blow a tire." "This is me watching it," Jen retorted. A minute or so later, they coasted to a halt and Angela flung the door open. She had to. She threw herself free, bent over, and expelled every single thing that dared to exist in her stomach. She could hear the others going on about it. Disgust, concern. "Really?" said Jason. Angela didn't care, because as she stood there, hands on her knees, guts aching, she spied a pair of boots. Doc Martens. Cherry red. "He still has them," she thought. She was sure they were the same ones and not replacements, because she could also see the tiny black star on the right toe. Angela had drawn that star. She'd used permanent marker, obviously, a fine tip one that she'd taken from Kevin's own collection. That night, unlike many nights if Angela was being honest, was crystal clear in her head. Kevin had been sleeping. He had a sun and moon blanket half covering his body. He'd been clad in black boxer shorts with one white sock, mouth hanging open, light snores. Angela had crept across his room to his art supplies, where she picked up the pen. She held it in her fingers, feeling a deep connection to Kevin. A zap. He was an artist. Comic book stuff mostly. Then, much like now, she spotted the boots. It was impulsive, stupid, but she thought, he has the sun and moons. He needs a star, too. She'd held her breath and bent down, drawn the star, so pleased with herself. Then she stood, fully planning on sneaking back out the way she'd come, through Kevin's open window. Instead, she found herself moving toward him, looking down at him. What if, she wondered, what if I kissed him? The zap intensified. She leaned down, and his eyes had opened wide. Then came a scream. He sounded like a girl, honestly, which made Angela laugh, and the laughing probably didn't help with what came next. The lights and sirens and her own screams, the uncovering of her obsession, the collection in her house, Kevin's things accumulated one by one, the lock of his hair, his name carved in her upper thigh. Danger to herself and others. They locked her up, filed her away. Mental breakdown was the official story. Criminal stalking was the reality. 3 months later, she was free, stably unstable. Kevin had gone away to college, and she moved on. Kevin Boeser. Why him? Why now? Slowly, she straightened up. Dark hair, short now. Hazel eyes, sharp as ever. scar where the piercing once was. The same, but different. And Angela's pulse quickened. This was him, the man who destroyed the last moments of her youth by getting her locked up.
I don't know, guys. I'm really loving the music of this one. The story's really well. The music's really well. This is coming together, fellas. This one's going to get submitted for awards, all right? All right, there's going to be trophies named...
GenX?
Named GenX. You know, this dude,
What?
I'm really bad at remembering everything on this planet. You told me the name of this right before we started. Couldn't remember it. You told me I'm listening to Jen's name over and over and over again. Stacy. I can't remember anything. I can't remember any of these names.
You get cut some slack because you are actually really playing the piano.
I think I'm losing my mind.
You're only 22.
I think I'm losing my mind, Ma.
You're only 22 and 11/12. You can't lose your mind.
11/12. You're not wrong. I'm also 5.5/6.
Are you?
Yeah. Believe it or not, 5.5/6.
Okay. All bets are off. Michael Greer stepped around Angela and her puke, smiled at Kevin, and stuck out his hand. Hey, man, haven't seen you in ages. How you been? Kevin's grip was firm. Doing well. You? How are things on your uncle's farm? Oh, you had to bring that up first, huh? Michael thought, widening his smile and wondering how long it would take for it to crack. Same old, he said, impressed that you remembered where I landed. Of course I remember, Kevin replied. I always liked you guys. I was flattered when David invited me to join you. David made a noise that sounded like a grunt. Displeased with himself probably for being the supposed culprit behind this whole situation, which made Michael feel bad for a second. David was a nice guy, bent over backwards to take care of his wife, worked as an occupational therapist for old folks, and volunteered at a bunch of related organizations. He didn't deserve to take the brunt of the accidental invite. Accidental, Michael thought. Yeah, right. Good one, Kevin. He knew better. He was sure he could see it in Kevin's eyes. The guy was here on purpose. Michael should have left it there, but the interaction felt outwardly incomplete. Like all eyes were on the two of them, waiting for something. Every single one of his friends seemed to have a tension just rolling off of them. David was literally flexing and unflexing a hand, and Angela had never been paler. Why the hell did I speak to Kevin in the first place? Michael wondered. He cleared his throat. So what are you doing these days? Last I heard, you were getting into investments. Kevin laughed. Oh, that lasted all of 5 minutes. Turns out I'm terrible with money. Michael flinched so hard, he was sure one of the others would ask him if he was having a seizure. But if they noticed, they kept quiet about it. Come on, Jason said, sounding more annoyed than ever and not bothering to cover it. We can't just stand around here waiting for the camp to set itself up. Easy there, Mr. Mayor, Jen replied. We're not a bunch of your tech company lackeys. Even so, everyone started pulling out their gear. Michael did the same, but he kept his eyes on Kevin, who already pitched his own tent at the far corner of the site. At least that made it easy for Michael to physically distance himself. With his own tent bag in hand, he crossed the packed dirt and started getting stuff ready. He'd barely threaded the poles through the nylon, though, before Kevin joined him. You want a beer, man? He asked. Michael did, anything to take the edge off, but accepting one just felt wrong. I'll hold off, he said. You sure? Kevin replied. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Jason swooped in and snagged a can from the six-pack. It's 5 o'clock up here all the time. Michael hoped that it would be. He really wanted Kevin to move on, offer a beer to the others. They all looked like they could use one. But the universe had a dark sense of humor. The tent pole in his hands chose that moment to break apart. While at the same time, a random gust of wind kicked up, pulling the tent itself from his grasp. Right away, Kevin intervened. He dropped the 5 remaining beers and chased after the wayward tent. Michael stood where he was, slightly incensed by the whole thing, pissed off at the loose tent, even more annoyed by the helpfulness. Jen nudged him. You gonna help with that, buddy? The tent was still out of Kevin's reach, dancing along the ground, getting farther and farther away. Maybe it would fly off a cliff and Kevin would follow. Jen nudged him again. Earth to Michael? I'd rather not, Michael muttered. She gave him a look. Really? Any number of things could have been inferred from the single word. Was she surprised? Amused? Thinking was a total jerkwad? He didn't know, but he did know that she was still staring at him. It was attention Michael didn't need. Growling under his breath, he strode toward Kevin. Right as he reached the other man's side, the tent snagged on a tree, flapped once, and then collapsed to the ground. A fact that left Michael standing uncomfortably close to Kevin, shoulder to shoulder. He waited for the other man to say something to cop to the real reason that he decided to tag along on the trip. Bad with money, Michael thought, but Kevin said nothing. It made no sense. It continued to make no sense as they finished their setup and got settled in. How long would Kevin keep his mouth shut? Through dinner, apparently. Into campfire time, too. He kept it light, kept it pleasant, was apparently in a better mood than any of the intentional attendees. Michael wouldn't be lulled into complacency, though. After all, he owed Kevin Boeser a little over $200,000 for 6 months now. Only so much time could pass before a person demanded payback for that kind of cash.
Man, everyone hates Kevin.
Now you've met all of our players.
And we've met all of our hatred towards Kevin.
So we got Jason.
Jason.
We got Jen.
Jen.
We got David.
David.
Angela.
Angela.
Michael.
Michael. All of them phenomenal singers.
I did not know you were going there.
What do you mean? You have Jen, for Aniston. I don't know how she can sing. There's David.
Lee Roth.
Oh, good. I was going towards Beckham, and I don't know if he can sing either. He probably can. That man doesn't look like he can sing. There's Angelina Jolie.
None of these people here are singing. They're all actors, and you're like the music guy. And you're like the music guy. How are you not coming up with any singers?
Michael Bolton. There we go. Who doesn't love Michael Bolton?
You're going with Michael Jackson.
I was more thinking of
Michael
Wham.
Bublé.
Who's Michael? George Michael. That's the last
Michael.
That's the last name. That's not right. That doesn't work. Who's the last person? Kevin Bacon. Or wait, that's okay. Who's a singer? Kevin.
I don't know. I'm not good at names.
Kevin Spacey. I'm sure he sang at some point.
I'm sure they all.
Well, he's also known for his other work.
Okay. Can't wait to see the comments and the notes for this episode. Not the bathroom break you were looking for. Jason had not, in recent memory, taken a piss in the woods. Back when he was a kid and they lived in a trailer, he had to do it often. Their toilet was always breaking, and his mom would tell him and his brother that since they were boys, it was easy for them to find a tree rather than forcing a flush. Waste not, want not, she'd say with a laugh. As a result, that particular idiom always made him cringe. But in any case, Jason had forgotten how much he disliked an outdoor bathroom break. It was cold and uncomfortable, and a far cry from the heated floors in his apartment. The surrounding branches pricked through his silk pajama pants as he went to pull them back up, and he suspected they'd have to be tossed away when he got home. Still, might be better than using the outhouse, he thought with a grimace. The stench from that small, dilapidated structure had just about made him puke. No way he was going inside unless he absolutely had to. Grimacing again, he spun back toward the camp. He'd only made it a couple of steps before he stopped again. There, ahead of him, on his intended path, were two figures. One was definitely David, easily recognizable in his ever-present ball cap. The other appeared to be Kevin, who was swaying a little on his feet. What were they up to? Had David lied about inviting Kevin accidentally? If so, Jason was going to find out. eyes narrowed, he stepped behind the nearest tree. Right away, his foot sank into something warm and yielding. He stifled a groan, but he stayed where he was because the ruination of $500 boots seemed secondary to whatever was going on between his friend and their unwelcome guest. Especially when the breeze shifted, letting him hear the conversation. Kevin spoke first, his voice low and his words a bit slurred. "Thanks for lending me the jacket, man. I can't believe I forgot mine." David's reply was flat. "No worries." Kevin didn't seem to notice the tone, and he moved as to go around David, whose hand came out to stop him. "I know about you and Jen," David said. "I know about the kid. He looks like you." Well, damn. Was David saying what Jason thought he was saying? "I wouldn't know. I haven't ever seen him," Kevin said. "But you knew?" David asked. Kevin sighed and let out an audible hiccup. "Yeah, man, I knew." "Jen told you?" David wanted to know. "Did she tell you?" Kevin countered. "As a matter of fact, she did," David stated. "She needed a friend. She didn't know what to do. She and Hank had just eloped." "So I heard," Kevin replied. "Hank can never find out," David said. Kevin let out an audible snort. "You think I'm going to tell him?" "I think you and everyone else on the planet knows Hank is worth a mint. And he's a mean mofo, too. Jen would kill anyone she thought might tell him." There was a weighted pause after that, and Jason held his breath, eager to hear whatever was coming. Was Kevin planning to blackmail Jen? Was that what this was all about? Honestly, Jason was a little offended that she confided in David rather than him. But David's next observation seemed unrelated. "You know about me, too, don't you?" Jason's skin prickled. This was getting more interesting by the second. "Yeah, man," Kevin repeated. David paused for a long moment. "So we have an understanding. You say nothing about me, and I say nothing about you knowing about the kid." "From where I'm standing, everything is completely fine." Kevin waved a drunken hand. "I don't know why we're even talking about this." "Because I don't trust you," David replied. "Whatever, man." Kevin hiccuped again. This time it was David who moved. He strode away in the complete opposite direction of the camp. Jason was still processing what he'd heard, still trying to figure out what Kevin could possibly know about David, when Angela appeared. She came in from the left, walked straight up to Kevin, and kissed him. Not a peck, a real kiss, both hands on his face. Kevin stood very still until Angela pulled back. "I always wondered whether going to a psych ward was worth it." She tipped her head like she was still considering. "Apparently not." Then she turned and walked back towards the tents without another word. Jason watched as Kevin touched his own face and then laughed softly, wobbled a bit, and headed away. Jason followed him at a distance, curious about what might come next. Who wouldn't be? His lip curled, though, when he saw that the other man was headed for the disgusting outhouses. Forget this, he thought. But he paused in his spin when he spotted Michael emerging from the stinking wooden structure, his head down, his eyes on the jacket he was zipping. When he did look up, his gaze immediately found Kevin. Jason was close enough to see the flicker of emotion in the moonlight. Bitter fury, like he wanted to hurt someone, Kevin in particular. Then he turned a hard left and kept walking, nearly smashing into Jason. "Sorry," Michael said right away. "Didn't see you there." "Bathroom," Jason replied. "Popular place at the moment, so I pissed in the woods." Michael offered a non-committal grunt, and they trucked the rest of the way back in silence, which suited Jason just fine. He was busy planning what he was going to say to Kevin, because he was going to say something. No way he was going to let all of that go, not when he could use it as leverage. Kevin was a loose end, the one person who might be able to topple the life Jason had built for himself. This was the exact sort of dirt he always wished he had on him. Him showing up here had been the worst luck. But maybe all this, whatever it was, could change that. Back at camp, Jason grabbed a lawn chair and tucked himself into the shadows to wait. But he no sooner had settled in place than Jen unfolded herself from her tent. She darted a look back and forth and then took off toward the woods. Jason stayed right where he was, feeling like he was in the Twilight Zone. What in God's name was going on? For the first time since setting up the plan for the reunion, he questioned it. Truly questioned it. Sure, the Kevin thing threw a wrench in his plans to have a mind-numbingly good time, but this stuff was tipping it over the edge. He sat back in his chair and told himself to give Jen and Kevin 5 minutes to sort out their baby daddy crap. Then he'd march in and say something. A lot of somethings. Unfortunately for Jason, the night had other ideas. His eyes closed, the darkness tugged at him, and the next thing he knew, he was dragging himself awake to the sound of birds and the gray of pre-dawn. He blinked, then froze. On the edge of the camp, just at the tree line, was a blue tarp. Said blue tarp was rolled up like a rug. And sticking out the top were a pair of red, dark marten boots.
Dun dun dun. Oh darn it! I need to turn my mic on.
Maybe my mic picked up
Maybe
your
I'm
first
not gonna. We're not gonna win this award. I got 4 points off for not turning my mic on.
So Kevin has finally died.
Kevin is dead.
Kevin
Woo.
is dead.
Good for Kev. You know, a lot of people really strive for that, and he achieved it without even trying.
There is so much going on.
I know. I can't. Okay.
Yes.
Is it? We're not at the deliberation
Nope,
yet, right?
one more
No.
chapter.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll ask later then.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling that it's going to get answered, and I don't need to spoil anything.
Okay.
All right. Let's rock and roll
Guilt.
like a rolling stone.
Guilt is in the eye of the beholder. Before Jason could so much as take a step, either forward or away from the tarp-wrapped body, he hadn't decided yet, his friends stirred in seeming unison, zippers, rustling, then exits from their tent. Michael came first by a millisecond, already dressed. Next was Angela, her hair loose, blinking sleepily. Then David, barefoot, but with his ball cap somehow already on his head. And finally Jen, who noticed Kevin's body before the others and came to a dead stop before she pressed her hand to her chest while her face went pale. She looked for a moment like she might collapse. Then she looked like maybe she was trying to catch David's eye. "What did you do?" she asked abruptly. Took a second for Jason to realize that she was speaking to him rather than David, and his eyes widened in automatic denial. "Me? I didn't do anything." "Oh," Angela whispered. "Oh." "Jesus," Michael said. "Is that—" "Jesus." Jason's eyes stayed on Jen. "I woke up and he was already like this." "Already like this," she echoed. "That's Kevin, and he's dead, Jay." "Not because I did anything," Jason said. Angela moaned. David and Michael exchanged an undefinable look. Michael moved toward the body and then stopped. David took off his hat, revealing a shaved head. "You were out here all night," Jen said to Jason. "I saw you. You were sitting in that chair when I went to bed." "That's all true," Jason said, "but I'm not the one who killed him. How could you even think that?" Everyone else was silent, which Jason didn't like. Sweat beat at his collar. He gestured to David. "Maybe ask him about it, because I overheard his pretty interesting conversation with Kevin last night." David's jaw tightened. "I don't care what you heard. You're the one who lied yesterday and pretended to not know who Kevin was." "That's your contribution right now?" Jason snapped. "That's what you're going with? He's dead, David. Dead." Michael spoke up without looking away from the tarp. "You're lying again now." Jason threw an exasperated hand in the air. I'm not lying. You are, Michael argued. You've actually always been terrible at hiding things. You thought those meetings with Kevin in the computer studies class were a secret? They weren't. We all knew about them. We just didn't have the heart to burst your bubble. Jason couldn't believe this was how things were going. So, hanging out with a guy isn't a reason to kill him. Not by a long shot. Oh, please, Jen replied. We all knew why you were meeting him. You helped each other cheat on exams. So, Jason repeated, that was high school. High school exams, Angela corrected softly. I can't believe he's really... Did anyone? Those same exams got you into college, and that cushy job, David pointed out. You all had at least as good a reason to want him gone, Jason said. He clearly had something on David. He sent Angela to the psych ward. Michael, you plain looked like you wanted to kill him. And you've got a good reason to want him quiet too, didn't you, Jen? This is insane, she muttered, averting her gaze. You're deflecting. I'm just stating facts, Jason said, which is more than any of you are doing. The forest pressed in around them. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Jason's nerves were dancing now. We need the cops, he finally said. He's right about that, Jen agreed. You guys should tie him up. Tie me up? You can't be serious. Jason took a step away and glanced toward the others. Angela was looking anywhere but Kevin, her face blotchy, her hands wringing, Lady Macbeth style. David still clutched his hat and his attention was fixed on his own feet. The only one listening to Jen was Michael, who shook his head. We're not tying anyone up, Jen, he said. You know what? I changed my mind. I don't even care if you do, Jason stated. I'm innocent. Tie me to a tree if it makes you feel better. I'll wait. Jen blew out her breath. I'll drive back to town to get help. And then never come back again, Jason said. I don't think so. Someone needs to go with you. Boo, she snapped. I'm not taking you. How about Angela, he suggested. Angela jumped. I don't know. Jen rolled her eyes, turned on her heel, and strolled toward her van. She climbed in, and after a second, the engine sputtered but didn't turn over. And again. There was a long silence, and Jen stomped back to the silent group. There goes that idea, she said. Anyone got any other suggestions? Michael and David both murmured about that being an awfully big coincidence, but Angela's voice rose above theirs. Kevin's car is here too, she said. Where do you think his keys are? Nobody moved. It could be in his tent, Jason offered. I can go check. But David gave him a look and then headed to the other side of the campsite. He was in and out of Kevin's tent quickly. Not there, he said. Probably has them in his pocket. Now everybody's eyes went to the body, and it was again Angela who spoke first. They're getting very good with forensics, she stated. I saw a documentary. Jason didn't know if she was trying to reassure them or if she was giving a reason not to touch the body in search of keys, and frankly, he didn't care. We need the police. All of us need the police, and we need them now, and the only way that happens is if someone gets Kevin's keys. Still, nobody moved. Jason exhaled. Fine, I'll do it. He turned toward the tarp, crouched down and took hold of the edge, shoving aside the way it made his skin crawl. Then he pulled it back slowly and looked down at Kevin Boeser, who was still clad in the borrowed plaid jacket. His mouth was blue-tinged, his eyes open, and marked with the hemorrhaging of suffocation. And finally, Jason stood up without searching for the keys at all. I know who did it, he said, and I know why. Okay, Jack, let's see if you know who did it, and you know why. I take that as that this is not going to go well.
Are you kidding me? Just every time I do something, I'm like, think of the awards we're about to win. This is such a cool episode.
Jason Mercer's weekend away with his high school buddies has turned deadly.
Yes, it has.
He thinks he knows who killed Kevin Boeser
He thinks
and
he does.
why.
And why?
Let's help him gut check before his silk pajamas are traded in for Prison Orange.
Never mind. We're not going to win over Ward. I'm not going to get it right.
Here are the suspects in the order we met them.
Okay. We got Jason.
Jason Mercer, party organizer.
Yes, Mr. Mercer.
Jen Jenkins, Kevin's secret baby mama.
Jenkins, I would have pictured Jen so much differently if I'd known her last name was Jenkins. No offense to all the Jenkins out there. Just not how I pictured her.
David Shitska, the wife's hit and run driver.
I do love that his last name is Shitska.
I probably am pronouncing it wrong.
Shizka.
Shizka. Shizka.
Shizka.
Shitska.
I see.
Angela Lehman, Kevin's high school stalker.
Ooh.
Everybody should have one, you know.
Yeah.
Michael Greer, the gambler who owns Kevin 200 large.
He owns Kevin's 200 large?
He owes. There's no N in that word, owes.
He owes the big
Okay,
K.
so here is what we know.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Boeser was found at the edge of camp, suffocated by a blue tarp. I always add an R to that word, suffocated.
Suffocated?
I always say suffocated.
Suffocated? Suffragecated?
Suffocated.
Wow. I don't think I've ever added an R.
His trademark Doc Martens stuck out of one end.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling back the tarp revealed blue lips from the suffocation.
Yes.
And the coat that he had worn the night before.
Yes. So, okay. There's something got to be there with the coat, with the blue lips, with the suffocation. Because that is what Jason saw. That went, I know who did it.
Right. He peeled the tarp back, and those are the things he saw.
The jacket, the lips, the neck.
I guess the Doc Martens, too, but that was at the other end.
That was at the other end.
Other end of the burrito.
Yeah.
Jason Mercer slept outside that night in a chair.
Yes.
When he fell asleep,
Uh-huh.
Michael and Angela were in camp.
Yeah.
David, Jen, and Kevin were in the woods.
Uh-huh.
When he awoke, all the others came out of their tents.
Yes. So at some point, the two in the woods returned to their tents.
3 in the woods returned.
Three in the woods. Who were the 3 in the woods?
David, Kevin,
dead
guy, and Jen.
Oh. So he was in the woods, but he did not get back into his tent.
Well, you don't know.
He got wrapped in his tent.
Jason fell asleep outside. So when he fell asleep at some undetermined point,
Darkness,
that's where people were.
Okay.
Jason saw the suspects interact with Kevin that night.
Uh-huh.
David loaned Kevin his coat
Yeah.
and talked about Jen's kid and his wife's car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Angela kissed Kevin.
Wait, is Kevin wearing David's coat, or is Kevin currently wearing his own coat?
Kevin forgot his coat, so he is wearing David's coat.
While dead. Okay. Do we have a description of this coat?
Just that it was plaid.
Okay. Continue.
Angela kissed Kevin. Remember, said it wasn't worth going to the...
Yeah. Angela is a fun character. She's such a ball to be around.
Michael snubbed Kevin, so he wouldn't even talk to Kevin.
Yes.
And Jason saw Jen go into the woods, but didn't actually see or hear the conversation.
You can't cough. We just lost another award.
Oh, sorry.
Jen? Okay.
Jen was tense about the weekend with her son's biological father and counted on Jason to revoke the invite.
Yes, but David knew about it, about the fatherness.
Yes. Jen told David about Kevin being the father.
Yes. Which is, I feel like I don't understand Jen and David's relationship because
they're just good friends.
They're just good friends, but it seems like Jen's closer to other people. Like she's closer to Jason, right?
She said she'd known Jason since 3rd grade.
Maybe I just assumed.
I don't know. Kevin confirmed to David that he knew he was the father.
Yes.
David didn't accidentally make the invitation. Wait, did. I'm sorry.
He did.
David did, typo on my script, did accidentally make the invitation, but felt he couldn't withdraw it because Kevin knew he was the driver in his wife's accident.
Yes.
Kevin confirmed that he did have that knowledge.
Yes.
Angela blamed Kevin for her hospital stay.
Yeah, which seems strange.
Not strange. She's a stalker. Of course she would blame him.
She is. But it seemed like she had kind of done a good
did.
job at recovering.
It said seeing him challenge the progress that she'd made through therapy and pharmaceuticals.
Okay, so this might be a challenge. Her going out and kissing him might be a little bit of a relapse.
Yeah, she definitely was having issues. Good thing she threw up all those pills she took. Jason himself had a motive, as he used Kevin to cheat on tests in high school that led to his college entry. If Kevin talked, his mogul status could be pulled out from under him.
It could be, but at a certain point, you have to go, that was high school. I've gone through college. I've gone through all of this current training. I am pretty high up in my spot. I feel like that's not a huge threat. But to them in the story, it is.
I agree with you, but there's certainly, now it says he's in tech, so maybe he'd be okay, but there's certainly some higher profile things where you could have some questions to answer.
There are. But at the same time, why would Kevin care? What motive does Kevin have to bring that against Jason?
That's a good question.
Blackmail? Because that's all I can assume.
I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, because we have a motive against him, but Jason, I feel like there's no outline current us going.
Kevin seems to be holding everybody's secrets, so if he's going to use them against one, it seems like he would use them against all, wouldn't he?
Maybe, but he doesn't even seem like he hates them. No. Well, maybe he came out there just to screw with them. Hard to know anyone's motive at the moment.
Jen suspects Jason of the murder since he was asleep outside when she returned.
Yes.
No one else has made an accusation.
Correct.
Jen's van will not start, stranding the now distrusting friends unless they use Kevin's car.
Yes.
So, Jack, which of the Gen Xers ruined Kevin's weekend?
Okay. So, I need to know, when does this take place? Is this like 2005?
1995.
1995. Okay. I clearly wasn't paying attention to that. At some point, someone said graduated in the 90s, and I was like, this is 5 years after that. We're not in present day.
No, we're not in present day.
Okay. Let's go through them all. Jason didn't do it.
I'm marking Jason green.
If Jason did do it, there's a motive there that has not been revealed to us.
Because you're not buying he's worried about his high school exam cheating being motivation enough to kill Kevin?
Correct. But there is an odd thing in that he pretended not to know Kevin, despite clearly he does know Kevin.
That it was odd.
So why did he do that? If it's because of the high school cheating thing, weird. But at the same time, we now know, because he was hanging out with him all the time in high school, that he does know who Kevin is.
Yeah.
He did know. So he was very obviously lying.
Yep.
There's not a hint of a doubt. So actually, now that I say that, it feels weird. Jason's got something to hide. The stalker.
Angela.
I don't think she did it. She could have, I suppose, if he looked at no.
What?
I was gonna say if he looked at her lips, then you can see something there. But she kissed him. We know she kissed him.
Yes.
So I don't think you could see anything at the lips and be like, well, it didn't come from her kissing him.
Do you mean like lipstick, or do you mean like poison?
Lipstick.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, I don't know how you'd see poison.
Well, I was trying to...
And he was strangled, so I don't know if that would matter.
He was suffocated.
He was suffocated.
Suffocated with the tarp.
Suffocated with the tarp.
Yeah.
So somebody...
The tarp he was burritoed in.
So somebody rolled him up in the tarp and that killed him?
I mean... It said his lips were blue from suffocation.
Yeah, I figured he was suffocated and then rolled up in the tarp.
Oh, okay. He was blue-tinged mouth, his eyes open, and marked with the hemorrhaging of suffocation.
That's was marked with the hemorrhaging of suffocation?
That's why I picked chemical, was a lack of oxygen.
Lack of oxygen is chemical. Yes, it's a lack of chemical.
It's a lack of chemical.
It's a lack of the oxygen chemical, but oxygen's not a chemical. But whatever.
It's an element.
But air is a chemical, because air is a mixture of a bunch of different gases.
Okay, we're totally getting off subject. So we got Jason and Angela. They're past the bar. They're green.
Michael Bolton, I feel like he's got nothing.
Okay.
But he also really hates Kevin.
He really hates
He
Kevin.
really hates Kevin, even though the guy fronted him $200,000.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin said it was a gift, but Michael isn't taking it as that.
Correct. Now, do you really believe it was a gift or versus a loan?
I think if somebody is going to give you money, especially of that size, you know the terms up front. If somebody says it's a gift, it's a gift. Now, I'm not saying that Michael wouldn't feel guilty or ashamed, wouldn't feel like he wanted to pay it back so that he didn't, just wasn't a loser.
This is one of those stories where I feel like I'm missing something, where like there's definitely a key somewhere that I have lost. And the biggest thing that I'm seeing that I can't see is A, maybe Michael's got something else that he's just so crazy hatred and hate about this guy. And B, Jason,
the party organizer?
Jason, his weirdness about
Pretending he didn't know Kevin.
Pretending he didn't know him in that. And then what was the opening line of this story? It was like, I wish I'd never, I feel like maybe it is Jason because, wait, no, but Jason said, I know who did it.
Jason said, I know who did it and I know why.
So he could be just like framing someone. But I still just, I feel like he's got something, but it's still not him. I don't think it's Jen. Jen, again, has...
So wait,
weird.
on Michael, is he green or is he yellow?
I'm going to say it's not Mikey.
Okay, so he's green. Okay, so you have two people left, David and Jen. And you were just going to say you didn't think it was Jen.
I don't think it's Jen. And you know what? I also don't really think it's David. Did Kevin do it?
Kevin, I don't have Kevin on the list.
I think I have to go with Jason because he's the only one I have a question mark over. Okay. But honestly, I'm not fully confident in that even slightly. As you tell, because I've just told people like twice, I don't think it's him.
Okay, so Jason is now red and everybody else is green. Alrighty. Before we get going, we want to remind everybody that Mysteries to Die For has started memberships. This is our way to keep ads out of your podcasts. We have 3 different levels. Check out on our website, m2d4podcast.com. Really appreciate any support. It helps us keep our software going, the power flowing, and pay our real-life authors. All right, ready for the big reveal?
One small thing. I keep forgetting to mention it. I told myself I would. I'm doing a different podcast as well.
Oh, that's
it's right. Right? I haven't talked about it in like 8 episodes. It's called Unlicensed to Air, Australian hosts. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. I'll leave it at that. All right, cool. Back to the story.
Dead Man Walking. 4 hours earlier, Kevin had to admit he was more than a little drunk. The reason he had to admit it was there was simply no denying it. He pushed up from the log where he'd been sitting for the last 20 minutes. He swayed and nearly fell. He reached out to grab the tree and kept himself up, remembered there was no tree, and pitched sideways. He landed in low-lying shrub. He flailed his arms, trying to right himself. No luck. After a second, he gave up the effort and stared at the sky. 3 months of sobriety. And now what? This? Drunk? Cold, even with David's coat on? Camping with people who clearly hated him? He didn't get it. Really. Not that he was like the coolest of the cool. Back in high school, he'd never been able to connect with people. He never fit in. Worse, he knew he didn't fit in or connect. He used to be envious of this guy, Jesse Garibaldi. People called Jesse the Freak. And somehow, that even made its way into the yearbook under his grad write-up. Jesse the Freak Garibaldi. Jesse had been clueless about the whole thing. He was taller than everyone, almost 7 feet. He laughed like a donkey and wore clothes that didn't fit. Sometimes he smelled. He'd be standing in the hallway and wondering where that stink was coming from. Jessie would appear. That explains it, someone would say. The freak is just out here freaking. Then they'd all laugh. Jessie would join in, braying away, no clue that they were laughing at him rather than with him. But Kevin wouldn't have given to be that oblivious. Yeah, there was a lot more to unpack than that. Kids were mean as hell, and teachers were incompetent at managing it. Kevin should know. He'd become one just this year. Blinked at the stars, and his mind was stuck in the past. In 12th grade, Kevin had met Jason in computer studies. For the first time in his life, he felt like someone didn't see through him. He and Jason had bonded over coding that no one else in class understood. And he remembered the feeling of relief so vividly it was an ache. He'd known who Jason was before that. He knew who the guy's friends were. Kevin knew all the friend groups, and he watched them from the outside, trying to determine what they had he lacked. He genuinely thought it was an ingredient or a code. If he could unravel it, suss it out, he could recreate it and join in. Jason, he thought, had been the ticket. Of all the cliques that existed, Jason's was the one that made the least sense, and therefore also made the most sense for a guy like Kevin. Jen was smart and pretty and came from money. Rumor had it that she'd turned down 10 prom dates. David liked to party. He was loud, bragged about his music, and carried a flask everywhere, even in school. Michael had been a certified dumb-as-rocks jock until he lost his temper after a football game and broke a guy's nose and got booted from the athletics department. Angela gave off killer vibes, serial killer vibes. She stared at Kevin during math class in a way that simultaneously creeped him out and turned him on a little. Jason, of course, was their leader. His yearbook quote had said, "My dad can beat up your dad. Oh wait, I don't have a dad." Kevin thought it was truly fitting that this would be the group he broke into. They didn't line up with each other, so he'd be just another mismatched piece. Except, it didn't turn out that way, did it? He thought now. Jason had been using him, being nice so that Kevin could help him with a little project, stealing the answer sheet for 3 final exams. Once they'd done it, the most successful and completely unknown heist in school history, Jason said they had to cut all ties. Spending time together was too risky. "You understand, right?" Jason had asked. "Sure, man," Kevin had replied, trying to hide his disappointment. "Awesome. See you around, dude." A clap on the back. Jason was gone. It gnawed at Kevin, honestly. What was he missing? Why wouldn't these people be friends with him? Then it was over. School was done. He was heading off to college. He'd been going to let it go. He would have if the 5 of them just hadn't kept popping up in his life. First, there was Angela, showing up his bedroom a few days after graduation. What a wasted opportunity. If he'd kept his mouth shut, like literally, she would have been a solid in. Yeah, okay, she was as likely to kill him as she was to kiss him. But what if he had never yelled like he did? Would she have become his girlfriend? Would he have been sitting at the fire tonight as a welcome part of the group, rather than the guy who sent one of them to a funny farm? Next, his night with Jen, right at the end of the same summer. God, what a night. He'd been drunk, she'd been drunk. Even so, it had been far more to him than a one-night stand. Imagine his disappointment when he'd woken in the morning, find her gone. Imagine his shock when he learned that she was married. How could he have been such a fool? It was part of what led to his drinking problem, burying his shame and loneliness. He'd lied to David about never seeing the kid. Of course he checked him out. Who knew if he'd ever get another chance to be a father? But in a million years, he would have never ratted out Jen. Kevin had pulled through it anyway. Gone off for that freshman year of college, then come back home and taken up a job as an orderly in a local hospital, which led to an unexpected encounter with David. Stupidly, Kevin thought David might confide in him. He'd obviously caused the accident that nearly killed the redhead in the bed. Instead, David got off without a blink and wound up married to the woman. Kevin remained alone. Those things always hovered at the edge of his existence. So even though more than 4 years went by before he ran into another of the group, it had just felt normal. That encounter was dark, though. Kevin found Michael on the Old Street Bridge, ready to throw himself off. Kevin had literally grabbed his collar and pulled him back. Sobbing, Michael confessed that he accrued $200,000 in gambling debt, and the bookies had threatened to kill his cousin, his uncle, his cousin's wife, and his 2-year-old niece. He was better off dead himself. Kevin had given him the money simply because the timing meant he could. He'd just inherited $1 million. So why not? Michael had called it a loan. All Kevin wanted out of it was friendship. Stupid, he told himself. Since when has anyone been able to buy a friendship? Then David came again, and Kevin swore it was a divine sign. Imagine running into that guy at an AA meeting, hearing about the camping trip, not being told no. Here, he could see them all, talk to them, try to explain that all he ever wanted was to be in their inner circle. So much for that. Tonight he had been awarded the displeasure of talking to each of them, and it made him realize he'd been wrong all these years. He had no desire to be friends with a single one of them. None of them were good people. In the morning, he was going to pack up and leave. The whole lot of them be damned. Kevin wiggled in place, finally freeing himself from the confines of the brushes. He blinked blearily into the night, took a step, then stopped. Ahead of him, directly blocking his path to the campsite, was a strange shape, wide and long and rectangular like a sheet. No, wait, he thought. Not quite a sheet. That's a tarp, he breathed. Strangely, in a way that felt related to the alcohol but wasn't really, the tarp was moving toward him at full speed. He could barely make sense of that before the damn thing hit him. Only it didn't feel like a tarp, it felt like a person who'd gotten the better of him and knocked him to the ground, whom he couldn't fight in his inebriated state, and who was holding firmly in place the plastic over his face as he lay in the dirt. He tried to punch, tried to kick. It was hard to do either with the thing over him and he couldn't breathe. Plus, the harder he worked at it, the less oxygen that made its way to his lungs. For long, he had no strength left anyway. His hand twitched. His lips went to move. They were more and more numb. The edges of his vision dimmed, and he knew he was about to leave the world. "I'm sorry, David," it was Jen's voice. "I just couldn't take the chance you'd tell Kevin the truth about my son, and it would wreck everything. You're the only person other than me who knows." Jen didn't let go of the tarp. She didn't ease her grip. Kevin knew she kept holding on until she was sure he was dead. "I'm not David," he wanted to say. "I'm just wearing his coat." But it was too late for that. The end.
Way to make a sob story. Poor Kevy.
Poor Kevin.
You know what? It does make sense why Jen immediately started accusing someone else. I was thinking, wow, she's like
awful aggressive.
she's like really convinced it is Jason. Okay. Yeah, it was. Okay. It had to be something there. Yeah, it was David's coat. I should have said, who wants David dead? But I didn't assume that Jen wanted anyone dead, to be honest. She just didn't seem like the person.
There is a whole lot of So not only does Kevin know, David knows, and now Jason knows. So there's almost more people who know Jen's secret than doesn't.
Yeah.
The only thing Buddy who doesn't know is Jen doesn't know that everybody else knows.
Yeah. And at that rate, you don't need to kill anybody. You're just, screwed. But at the same time, no one seems keen on ratting her out. No one who knew was like, I'm going to tell people. No one really cared.
Well, they're friends. They're keeping her secret.
She didn't know that, apparently. She got a little freaked out, which we didn't really see too much. I feel like we didn't see her get to that freak out stage. That kind of came.
Oh, she held it in.
She did.
If you're planning to kill somebody, you don't run around screaming. And she wasn't planning to kill Kevin. As much as she didn't want him there and she was afraid of him being there, the thing she was afraid of was him finding out about her son.
Yeah.
She was not afraid that Kevin would tell anybody. She thought he didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she was afraid of David.
Yep. But, coincidentally, she still did kill someone who knew. So if her job was to kill someone who knew, she did do it. She actually minorly succeeded.
Yeah, but you just got to feel bad for Kevin.
Yeah, that poor guy.
He just wanted to,
wanted
to have friends.
Even I feel bad because I was going into this story like, man, screw Kevin. He just sounds like an awful guy. And then he's walking around drunk and I made the connection. He was at that AA meeting and I was like, isn't he supposed to be sober?
Right.
So that actually drew me more to think David for a second there. And then I forgot it by the time I got to the deliberation.
Yeah, I really like this one. I thought it was very masterfully crafted that if we, you go back and read it again, like the clues are there. The code is a big one.
Yes.
Right? That it had to be something that Jason saw as soon as he opened it up. And then, who all talked. Very simply, Jen was the last to go in.
Yeah, she was one of the people in the woods.
Now, Jason was asleep, so other stuff could have happened that Jason couldn't have told us about.
That was one of those times where I was like, I'm sure logistically we can say this happened and this happened, but in reality, if he's asleep, anyone could have gotten out, done anything, gone back in.
That is true.
So I feel like that is one area where you can say that isn't definitive. Maybe in the logic of the story you can say it is, but...
And there were a number of times, especially in Jen's chapter, where she wanted to talk to David. She should have picked David up first. That if you think about it now, like she was trying to
get to him
to say, don't tell.
And then she never talked to him.
She never had the chance. So she just killed him instead of talking
she
to him.
had the chance. That was the time. If she wanted to, she could go up to him and say, let's talk. And instead she chose murder.
That she chose murder.
Yeah. It's also the middle of the night. If you want a private time to talk about this, you could have talked first.
Yeah.
Jen, I think, lost her cool and got a little crazy and went, oh my God, this is it. I'm never going to get the chance. Let's just kill him.
Yeah, she made Angela look sane.
Somehow. Yeah, no, I feel I knew it wasn't Angela because she was one of those characters who's just too close to being it, you know? When you're like, she's the obvious suspect. And she's also the person who everyone's like, she's a killer, man. And you're like, okay, well, it's not the person you're all calling a killer.
Well, I hope all of our podcast detectives, I wonder if you all got that right.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen, leave a note in the comments. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Show notes was stuck in my head. In the comments, and let us know which one you thought did it.
Yeah, they were all really good stories. Michael might have been probably just like the most not shallow, but like the least,
Superficial. The most superficial.
Yeah.
Because it was just money.
Yeah, it was just money, and the dude
in
just
his
was
own
a
vanity.
jerk about it. I was like, yeah, he was the most. Yeah. But anyway, now that was a really good story. And it was also great music. I got to tell you guys, that was some of my best work. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to introduce everybody to Melinda Di Lorenzo. She is a new author to the Mysteries to Die For Morgue. Melinda and I actually share a publisher in Thule Publishing, and we met through one of the chat groups on Thule. So thank you for jumping into our sandbox, Melinda. She is an award-winning multi-genre author with over 40 books. That is a lot. She holds a degree in English literature, which is worth considerably more than popular opinion suggests. That's funny. When not writing, she is either reading, watching soccer, women's only, the men fall down and cry. Yeah, they really do.
They really do. They're not that bad in the World Cup this year, but really bad.
Because they've changed the rules. But and Melinda's Canadian, so she's used to hockey. Like, nobody cries in hockey.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. Or teaching. Finish her sentence. She is passionate about writing and believes words are for everyone. Something mightier than the sword. But she does own a sword because apocalypses are unpredictable. Sorry, I did not read that well. Humor, heart, and hard work are the building blocks of her career. She looks forward to many more years of forcibly sharing her stories with others. We hope you share more through us. Your story was awesome. Links to her social, Facebook and Instagram will be in the show notes. So that wraps up this episode of Mysteries to Die For. Support our show by subscribing, joining a membership, or telling a mystery lover about us. Check out our website, m2d4podcast.com, for links to this season's authors and episodes. Mysteries to Die For is hosted by TG Wolff and Jack Wolff. GenX was written by Melinda Di Lorenzo. Music and production are by Jack Wolff. Episode art is by TG Wolff. Join us next week for a toe tag, which, as you all know, is a first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre, and then come back in 2 weeks for our next original story, where Jack Sound is our sticky means of murder. It's The Curse of the Siren's Shriek by Kira Jacobs. All right, Jack, take us out.